welcome, etc. Any welcome notes? Our welcome
No,
address.
just your normal welcome, Kenny.
Okay. As per
When
welcome
you
address from auntie or something.
no,
Just
Okay.
introduce her.
maybe she will do that when she's introducing the guest.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. Yeah, let me share reach my house first.
Mm.
Okay.
Hello, Dorothy. Dorothy.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've told Dayo. So she said she only saw your one call. But I think
Hmm?
I
Sorry?
only saw one trying to call you back.
Huh? I can't hear you.
I said I've spoken to Dayo.
Okay.
So she said she
Okay.
only saw your one call.
Oh,
That she,
okay. Okay, no problem.
so I told
I'll
her
speak
to
to her
get
later.
I told her to call you.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
Alright.
One can see your dark face. You don't
Rike,
have light in your house.
who is that? Oh, okay.
Why are you turning off your video? It's okay.
Yeah, well done.
Oh, how are you?
NK. That's
Koyo. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm saying good morning.
Welcome. Oh, good morning. How your life? Oh?
Very well, thank you.
I'm good. Welcome, Auntie Arieta.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
you and Ella are joining at the same time.
Welcome, Sandra Okudwa. Welcome, Ella. You are still playing up.
Hello, good morning. Is
Yes, she is.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Onyinye, can you lead us in prayer? Let's start.
Has our speaker logged in? I don't think so.
She will. Don't worry about it. Just
Oh, okay. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is a bit bright day. I hope it's be sunny. Welcome to our event where we'll be talking about rape and dismantling sexual assault. My name is Ochukwe Siervo, and I'll be co-hosting with Dorothy. Dorothy, please say hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dorothy Otodor. I'll be
So,
doing this for Chico today.
yeah, so Dorothy, please can you lead us in worship?
Okay. There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus to break every chain, to break every chain, to break every chain, to break every chain. There's an army rising up. There's an army rising up. Oh, to break every chain, to break every chain, to break every chain, to break every chain. There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus to break every chain, to break every chain, to break every chain, to break every chain. You are holy, you are holy. Everything about you is great. You are great, yes, you are Holy One. Walked upon the sea, then great and mighty, awesome One. Everything about you is great. You are great. You are great. You are great. Yeah, you are great. Say you are great. You are great. You are great. Everything about you is great. Hey, you are great. 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 Everything about you is great. Covenant keeping God, there is no one like you. Alpha and Omega, there is no one like you. Chineke dikwe, odiro ya dikagi. Alpha and Omega, odiro ya dikagi. All other gods, they are the works of man. You are the only Lord. There is none like you. All other gods, they are the works of man. You are the only Lord. There is none like you. All other gods, they are the works of man. You are the only Lord. There is none like you. And we will say that you are good, and all the miracles you've done have brought us joy. On all the praising you right now. Father, we declare that we love you. We declare our everlasting love for you. Father, we declare that we love you. We declare our everlasting love for you. You are the pillar that holds my life. You are the pillar that holds my life. Master Jesus, you are the pillar that holds my life. Jehovah Nissi, you are the pillar that holds my life. That is why you are called Jehovah. That is why you are called Jehovah. What you say you will do, that is what you will do. That is why you are called Jehovah. Do something new in my life. Something new in my life. Something new in my life. Oh Lord, do something new in my life. Something new in my life. Something new in my life. Oh Lord, do something new in my life. Something new in my life. Something new in my life. Oh Lord, do something new in my life. Something new in my life. Something new in my life today. You are great. You are great. Everything about you is great. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, God.
Hey,
Please stand to please pray for us.
hey, come on now.
Let us pray.
It's cool.
Our Father and our God, we thank you so much for today. Father, you are such a good God. We worship, we adore you because there is none like you. Father, we thank you so much for giving us life on this side of eternity, that we might live, God, to the glory of your name. I know, Father, so many look forward to seeing this beautiful day. Oh God, they are nowhere, just to experience this bright new day. Oh God, we are grateful that you have given us life, not because we merit it, but because your grace is sufficient for us. Thank you so much, oh God, for such a time as this that we have come together, Father, to learn once more again and also to learn how we'll be able to live a life that is worthy of your praise. Even as we listen to the class for today, talking about sexual assault, rape, and so many other things we'll be talking about today. Father, I pray that you're going to use the speaker, God, to impact our lives and also to help us, oh God, to understand, the situation that lives brings to us every day. I pray, Father, that everyone will listen. I pray, oh God, that will not be distracted. Father, I pray that every one of us will tune in and just, have a time of learning so that at the end of the day, Father, will be able to know how to protect ourselves, how to even, scale through when we face such situations. I pray, King of Glory, that you come and take absolute control, so that today, oh God, at the end of today, Father, will have every cause to give you all the glory. I pray that you should also hasten others that have not logged in, that wherever they may be, Father, please remind them. Thank you so much for today. I pray that you take control, even with the network, that everything will go smoothly, God. Thank you, Father, for all that you have done. In Jesus' name I pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Auntie. Good morning once again, everybody. If you're just logging in, to say a big welcome to our event where we'll be talking about rape and dismantling sexual assault with our special guest. And to lead us on in that, I'm going to invite Auntie Rita to please introduce the guest for us. Thank you. Auntie Rita. This is Auntie Rita in the house.
I think
Hello. Hello, good morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I am so sorry. My screen just went off. So that's what happened. And today we're going to have our friend, our new friend, Sarah Ologun. She's a clinical psychologist. About maybe less than a month, I guess. And we've been talking. She of her voice and our interaction, I can see that she's very passionate about what she does. And she's working with WARIF. She has wealth of experience. So today we want to ask, learn, be informed and educated about rape. Now, our theme today is dismantling rape. It's girls talk, dismantling rape and sexual assault among girls. So I know that she's a good speaker. She's a professional in this field, and we're to gulping, not hearing, gulping everything. And I know she's ready for all our questions. So Sarah, I'm sure you are in the house. We welcome you to SWAT Lady. All students, most of us are, aside from the people that are working in this organization, almost everybody is a student. So we're here, they all have questions. It's been a concern for them. Some have been afraid, some have been thinking, should I go and buy pepper spray? Some are thinking, should I buy small pen knife? So many things have been coming up, So please, today, I'm sure you are going to help us answer all the questions. And wait, Ologo, our newly found friend.
Good morning, everyone.
Sarah, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be with you today. It's good to be with you.
Thank you.
All right. Good everyone. And I'm honored to be invited and be here this morning. I really appreciate it. Madam Henrietta, thank you for inviting WARIF. I'm honored to actually be representing here, give you this morning. And so I believe grace, it's going to go well. It's going to be very interesting. And I know that a lot that at the end of it, just be something to, but something to help. And so just like Peter said, gulp it in. We should take it in notes, take down the next information. So when you find yourself in the position to be help, and you'll be able to help someone. Okay, so you're all, and I'm glad and excited in your morning. I so just before we go quickly to what we say, so I want you have your icons. So drop where you're from. I mean, joining from. So some of us are joining from one, so we can join Sarah in joining from. So let's just on this one. And the kids in your breakfast, okay, and from the kids in Lagos. So let's do that. Let me know we are all here too. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing yet. Look for your chat and you just send. So I'm Sarah from my room in Lagos. Okay. So that's okay. I'm not still seeing any yet, but it's okay then. And let's just move in. All right. So I can go from my room. I can see my room is Lagos. Nobody is right now or in trans. So I can see the room. Thank you so much for. Okay, so all right. Okay, so Madam Ariane, introduce me. My name is Sarah Ologun, Inside, and I work with Women at International. Um, so let me do a brief on WARIF, okay, because WARIF representing WARIF and what the WARIF acronym stands for Women at Risk International Foundation, and this is a non-profit organization led by the over Igbo in response to high incidence of both human trafficking. Okay, so it's an initiative, not just an individual about rising up to be able to help and women, able to young girls on that in 3 weeks. Okay, we are able to um, help under out him. Okay, reach out and rape center. We'll be learning more about what you say and how it's going to go for you. Okay, we'll also communicate. I just hope I'm not echoing. Okay, please, Madam Marietta, if I'm go off at any, you can call
Actually,
my
it's
line.
breaking actually. It's
Okay,
breaking.
it's break.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let me do something. Please just give me. Let me change my provider.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Hi everyone, say hello to each other while we wait for her.
Hello. She's adjusting to another network provider, so be patient.
Okay, Emily, please, while we are waiting for her, I want us to do something. Don't know if time might permit us, but we can try. I have riddles here. So I'm going to read out a riddle, and if you know it, I'd like you to use your raise your hand icon at your lower left. It's like a hand, it shows raise or lower your hand. So we're going to play like a little game while we're waiting for her. Is that fine?
Yes.
Hello? Can I get more responses?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now my first riddle is, what is always in front of you but you can't see it? Okay, Eniola,
I guess it's your eyes.
is that your final answer? Okay, so
Yes, no other option.
I know, please, I'm so sorry for the delay.
okay, she's back. Yeah.
So sorry. Okay. So is it sounding better now?
Yes.
Okay. I think because I was using the same internet for two devices, but it's okay now. All right. So so without wasting much time again, so I'll just, like I was talking about WARIF, our foundation. Okay. Okay. So I was talking about WARIF, our foundation, and I said that we are able to reach out to young girls and women in three different ways. And that is under our health pillar, which is mostly our center. I'll discuss about that later. And then we have community services, we reach out. And so under this service, we usually call out for volunteers. I'll still also touch on that later on. And then we also reach out to school children, and telling them, informing them, creating awareness about what they should do and how they should protect themselves. Okay, so WARIF is this one-stop facility that when you get to WARIF, you're able to get everything you need. A survivor that gets to WARIF is able to get every treatment that she needs or he needs. Okay, so instead of saying, okay, I get counseling in one place, then I go another place and to get drugs, and to go another place to do this and do that. So, but it's a one-stop facility. Okay, so moving further, today we have before us dismantling rape and sexual assault. Dismantling rape and sexual assault. Okay, and so we have the topic that we have our topics that we'll be talking about, and so I'll be doing a brief introduction on this, on what these words mean. Consent, we'll be talking about types of rape, myths and of sexual assault. We'll be talking about signs to look for in a perpetrator. We'll be talking about preventing sexual abuse, what to do. Okay, we'll be talking about symptoms of sexual assault. So what to do when I've been sexually assaulted. We'll be talking about medical attention that you need to get. Okay, psychosocial counseling and therapy that you need to get. We'll be talking about journey to recovery. Okay, and we'll be talking about how to help somebody that has been sexually assaulted. We'll also be talking about how to be an advocate. So, well, I trust that this session, as we go through it one step and to another, is going to be very, very enlightening. Okay, so just stay in there with me. All right. So gender-based violence, as we know, which is a cover for other violence like physical violence, sexual violence, verbal assault, stalking. So all this comes under gender-based violence. And it comes most of the time because most of the researches, the statistics that we have, a higher number of women have been assaulted in all of these ways by men that will to wish to control and exert their power. And so that's why we looked at it that, okay, gender-based violence. Now we're talking about sexual assault. Sexual assault is sexual contact or behavior that occurs without explicit consent. Okay, so there's somebody and then maybe a guy to a girl, and then he's touching her in a way she doesn't want, or he's handling her in a way she doesn't want. That is assault. She has not given you consent to do that, or If it's on the other hand, a guy has not given you consent to do that, that's assault. Now, what is rape? Most pervasive is a most pervasive form of sexual assault, and it has to do with the intentional penetration of the vagina, the anus, or the mouth of any other individual with the use of a body part. So it could be finger. I've had a case of a young girl stating that the boy used his toes or his legs, as is the toe on his leg, to and inserted in her vagina. Probably to him, he wasn't raping her since it was his toes, but anything, any penetration, it could be inserting a pencil. There has been a case of that. Again, it is rape. All those fall into rape. So doing that using a body part or an inanimate object without consent, so that's rape. Now, there are most of the survivors that we see in our center fall below 18, most of them. So that's talking about child sexual abuse. So it's the involvement of any child in a sexual activity where consent is not and cannot be given. So we are going to look at that under consent again, to know who can really give consent. Now, all sexual consent, this is important for us to also know, that all sexual consent between an adult and a child, okay, all sexual content between an adult and a child, whether or not the child understands the sexual nature of the activities, regarded as sexual abuse. So any adult involving in sex with a child, it is sexual abuse. Now, because why? The age of consent as the criminal code in Nigeria is 18. So if anybody here is not up to 18, the person is not able to give consent to sex. So you find out that there are some young men that will say, oh, she's my girlfriend and she came to my house. She agreed that she have sex with her, but the girl is 16 years old. That is statutory rape. We'll still talk about that. We'll see that later. And so we see that in itself, it's a kind of rape. So now both boys and girls are survivors of sexual assault and rape. We should know this. So we've seen boys too at our center, and our girls, however, the number of girl cases that are being reported is higher, 6 times more than that of boys. Okay, and sometimes because of ego, you find out that a lot of boys get to just cover it up and keep quiet about it, but it happens also to boys. Now, these sexual activities may be perpetrated either by an adult or by another child. So we've seen cases of a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. We've seen cases of a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. So it could be like that, or it could be even a 54-year-old man and a 7-year-old girl. All these cases there are things that we have seen. So now, more often than not, the perpetrator is known to the survivor, many times a trusted family or friend. So many a times when we think of who raped her or who raped him, we just assume like he's one wicked fellow or one drug addict or one tout, and that has raped this fellow and all of that. So we never are able to relate it that, okay, it could be this dear uncle, but many a times it is that person that you really trust, that person that has made you feel so comfortable with him or with her, that is able to perpetrate this violence. Now, what is consent? It's a permission for something to happen or agreement to do something. Please, once again, I'll just like to chip in. It won't be nice for me to just go on talking. If at any time I'm breaking, if at any time you can't hear me well, please kindly just alert me. Thank you very much. Okay, so what is consent? It's the permission for something to happen or agreement to do something. So I agree with you. This is what I want to do. I'm happy about it. I'm not forced to do it. I'm not coaxed to do it. I'm not drugged to do it. I'm not hypnotized to do it. Okay, that is what consent is. Now, we should note these certain things that fall under consent before engaging in sexual activities with another person. It's important that we understand that there is a particular age, excuse me, of consent. And that age under the criminal code in Nigeria is 18. So anybody younger than 18 years old is not able to consent. Now, consent is a choice of the other party, and it is neither gotten by force nor by gift. So we hear some guys saying, well, so I took you out, why did you go out with me, why did you eat what I gave to you, say I bought you a gift on your birthday, and that should automatically get me sex from you. So you choose giving me gift or buying dinner for me does not equate my consent. So sexual consent can be given and revoked. So today I see you, I say, okay, you know what, today I want to get this done, I want to sleep with you, I really love you, blah blah blah. So you know what, by weekend I'm coming over and we are going to get it done. So okay, weekend, eventually I pack my stuff, I go to his house, and then I'm there, and then suddenly I just feel like, okay, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I make my point known to him that I'm not doing this anymore. The truth is that he should respect my opinion. He should respect what I've said, and I should have, even though I gave it 2 days ago, it doesn't mean that he still has that consent today. So it still must be given before any sexual act at all. So once it's revoked, it is revoked. Now, the person to give consent should be conscious. So maybe I said, when I come to your house, we'll have sex. Then I got to your house, and somehow maybe I'd used cough syrup and I was drowsy and I slept off. So then you say, then the perpetrator goes on to say, you know what, since she has already agreed that when she comes over, this is going to happen, and then he continues to take advantage of me. So the truth is that that is not consent. So, it should be a conscious person. It should not be an hypnotized person. It should not be someone that is under the influence of drug. It should not be somebody that has fainted. Okay, it should not be someone that is dead asleep. That should be had. You shouldn't. Sex should not be had with that person. Under that guise, then it is rape. Okay. So these things we should know. So now, what are the types of rape? Yes, we have stranger rape, we have statutory rape, we have digital rape, we have acquaintance rape, we have date rape, we have multiple gang rape, we have drug rape. So stranger rape is that stranger, and the truth is that it is just a very, maybe like 8% of rape. Out of 100%, like 8% of it is actually strangers. Most other, like I said earlier, are close family friends that you hardly suspect. Now, there's statutory rape. We've talked about it. This is rape with a younger child. That's anybody below 18. Whether you say, oh, she agreed to do it or not, it is statutory rape. Now, there's digital rape. Digital rape is using inanimate objects or the finger or the tools, like I earlier said. That is digital rape. Acquaintance rape. So this is like a friend of yours, and then you decide that this person is my paddy now, is in my class. Let me go to his place to copy notes, and then he rapes you. That's acquaintance rape. Then you have the date rape. Okay, so the date rape is that you and this guy says, oh, let's go out on a date, and like a case that I know, let's go out on a date, and as they were returning back from the date, the guy put in a central lock and pretended I wanted to go and greet his mom. He just formed a trick on the phone and said, oh, mommy, what's wrong with mommy? And so the girl was like, ah, what's wrong with your mommy? Let's quickly go, let's check her up and all. And so when he got to the house, she entered inside, and then what he did was that he quickly locked the door before she noticed. And so he just ran upstairs like, oh, mommy was somewhere. By the time he came back, it was an attempt to rape the girl. So that is a date rape. Multiple or gang rape, this also happens too. A girl could be walking, and then you see maybe a pack of boys and all, and like 10 of them, 5 of them, 3 of them. So we've seen cases like that, would rape her at once. Turn after, they take their turns in raping her. And then drug rape. Drug rape is that you go for a party, you pay attention to your drink, something is dropped into it, you take it, and the perpetrator takes the person home or wherever, and then the person is raped. So that's a drug rape. Now, we can all see the screen, and I would really like us to participate in this activity. Okay, so now I don't even mind if one or two or three of us could even open our mics to just say something about this. We can see the picture up there, and so this is an activity for us. Okay, now which one of these pictures, just looking at the pictures, which one of them would you automatically say would be a rapist? You can drop a chat.
The guy in the one that is dark, that is wearing is it a bandana or something? Hello. Hello, Sarah. Did you mute your mic?
Maybe,
Hello. Hello.
maybe she's
So I'm with you. So you said the one with that looks like a gangster, right?
Yes.
Okay. So and if there's any other person that wants to say, do you also think the same? Is someone
I think the guy with glasses and the suspenders.
okay? The guy with the glasses and suspenders. Okay, nice. Why would
We have two people from YouTube saying the gangster guy.
okay the gangster guy? Okay, good. All right. So now I appreciate the fact that the person that mentioned that the guy with the suspender. Okay, I like your thought, but you see like it is many of us, even including me, I would readily, if not for the if not for like the practical experience now that I've had, okay, if not for people that have made the evidences and the stories, the cases that I've seen, I would readily pick the gangster. All right, that's no, he looks it with everything. But you see, like what I put here, we can never judge a book by its cover. So the truth is, from records, professionals, gangsters, nerds, women have been perpetrator. So the truth is that we have seen professionals, doctors, teachers. I mean, early this year or last year, a teacher of a big school, as it were, in fact, like a head of department, was sentenced to 60 years for molesting a girl. And this man is a professional, is married, he has children. Okay, so but then he molested a 3-year-old girl. So the truth is, we have seen that, stepfathers, fathers, we've seen women. So just anybody could be the perpetrator. So, but as we go along, we'll be able to know signs to look out for. All right. Thank you so much for participating in the activity. All right, so now, as Nigerians, I remember when I was pregnant, we have this myth a lot. So they will say, don't eat a lot of bananas, if not, the head of your baby will be white. Don't sweep in the night, if not, that way you'll be welcoming, maybe welcoming demons or whatever it is. Don't sweep clean up before the new year. So a lot of myths. So that's what we call myths, and we still have those myths around us. And then concerning sexual assault and rape, we have myths too that surround them. So I need you to know this myths, so that whenever you hear someone around you talking about the myths, or saying this and that about, oh, that's why she got raped, oh no, that's not, then you're able to correct them or inform them what it really is. Now, we are, like I said earlier, we assume rapists are strangers. Oh, this person is familiar to me. He's my close friend. Oh, no, it can't happen. He's a spiritual brother. Forget it. This one, I know how he does. So he can be, she can be. But the truth is that 92% of rapes have been perpetrated by someone known by the survivor or the victim. Another myth is that being raped by someone you know is not as bad. It's not so bad as being raped. In fact, if it was an armed robber that raped me, Kai, oh, no. I think it would be worse than the fact that it's your close friend. In fact, the guy was asking you out now, so it can't be that bad. But the truth is that rape has a devastating effect on the survivor's life. No matter who was the perpetrator, it has a devastating effect. And the truth is that we differ. My response to rape will be different from another person's response to rape, but there's usually something that, symptoms that are consistent. We will still get there. Now, there's also the myth that it cannot be rape unless there has been an act of violence. So she says, I was raped. And I say, see the girl that says she was raped. Look at this one. Go away, Jerry. Tell us you went to sleep in your boyfriend's house. You are telling us that you were raped. There's no scar. There's nothing. There's this one. Look at her face. In fact, she looks like she's even wearing makeup and she's claiming to us that she was raped. No, the truth is that some attackers are physically violent. It's true. Maybe the survivors put up a struggle, maybe, or just because they feel like, oh, this person will be a tough one for me. They immediately knock her out or punch her or something. But most of them are not. Most of them are not. So, like I told you, we have seen over 700 cases. So the truth is that I know the trend that I'm talking about is based on reality. Now, if she went with him, she took a piece of clothing, okay? That if she went with him and took a piece of clothing off, or she helped him, it means that she wasn't raped, okay? So now the fact that, she said, yes, he told me to remove my underwear, I removed my underwear. She told me to do this and I did it. He told me to raise my dress. He told me to lie down and I laid down. Then he said, go away, Jire, and you're saying that that's rape. The truth is that it is rape because compliance in fear, all right, compliance in fear does not mean consent. If I'm faced with a lion, if I'm faced with a gun, all right, and the person has shown me that there's bullets in the gun, in fact, I wouldn't know when if I'll remove even what he has not asked me to remove. Now, there's a myth that rape happens in the dark. So we tend to blame people that have been sexually assaulted. We say, oh, you too, why did you go out in the night now? Oh, no, did it happen in the night? Were you working in the night? You don't go, but no, majority of rape is committed inside the building, either in the perpetrator's house or in the survivor's house, or it could even be in a friend's house. So it's committed in the building. Some women ask for it. That's another myth. And so they say the women, they lead the rapist on. They say the women lead the rapist on. Okay? And so the truth is that it is sexual assault or rape as long as there is no consent. So let's not always miss that fact. As long as there is no consent, it is sexual assault or rape. Now, another myth is that rape is just sex when a woman does not want it. So you say, I beg Jerry, should go away. Okay, no problem. If she didn't want it, so that's the only reason why I do. So, but sexual assault or rape is not sex. It is taking control of a woman's body against her will. That's what sexual assault is. Now, we also assume that rape only happens to women who dress provocatively, women who drink alcohol, or that they go out alone. But from experience, women from all classes, no matter their race, their religion, the culture, regardless of how they dress, because if you tell me that a woman dresses provocatively, please can you kindly tell me that how come a 54-year-old man will rape a 7-year-old girl? that has barely grown anything on her chest or has even developed anything as regards her puberty. So the truth is that it's not about all those things, but it is just about the will to control, from the perpetrator. Rape is a crime of sexual need. They say rape is a crime of sexual needs and uncontrolled. So it's because men cannot control themselves. If they could just go, once they see a woman like this, their body will stand and they must have sex. Never. We all have emotions and we can control them. So sexual urges can be controlled. Rape is a crime of violence, but is a crime of violence about power, control, and it's not about sex. Now we also go for the fact there's a myth that says she wanted it, and because she accepted his gift. But the truth is, a woman's no is no. A woman's no is no. So if she doesn't struggle or call out, then she must be consenting. So you say, oh, she did not call out, she did not struggle, then the truth is that she was consenting to all these things. So, but the truth is, I usually ask mothers, you see some mothers, they will beat the daughter and say, oh, why didn't you shout? Why didn't you do something? Hello? Please, I'm so sorry. I wonder where I actually stopped. I don't know why it keeps logging me out. Okay.
You stopped at if she's not crying, if she cried out or if she didn't cry out or struggle, then she was consenting.
Okay. That is track. Thank you. Okay. Now I don't echoing. Okay, so finally, a rape we talk about should not we say um is the is but the truth is that rape are personally normal in most just a few cases that okay um it's not is the psychological disorder, right? Most of the time, normal. I hope I'm
Sorry, please, you are echoing. One of the device has like the both of them has their mic unmuted, so it's echoing.
okay. Let me check. So, okay. I'm here, I guess. Maybe okay. Maybe I should using this one. I don't know one because
It's much better now.
sorry,
It's better now.
it's better now. Both
Yes.
of them are muted usually, so I don't know if the mic is on. All right. Just continue. So, check. Let's get- Okay. Is it better now? Is it better?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. So, I have an activity on me. On me. Let's read what you're doing. Let's read what you're doing, and you can just tell me. Tell the question and I mean, Elizabeth is 3 year old. She has been drinking in. She dressed older a year. She has been kissing a boy. The boy brought her into his home. She laid down in Reggie's room. What my Eliza?
Hello, Sarah. It's breaking.
It's breaking.
Yeah.
How do okay, so let me click out and again.
Okay. While we're waiting for her, let's continue with the riddles. The last one, we didn't get a final answer from anybody. So I'm going to read it again. It says, what is always in front of you, but you can't see it?
Future.
Future. Thank you, Koye. That was correct. Um, okay. This one says, you're in a one-story house in which everything is yellow, yellow walls, yellow doors, yellow furniture. What are the colors of the stairs? Please let's raise up our hands when we want to speak in the raise your hand icon by your lower left. Ella.
Sorry, please can you repeat the question?
You are in a one-story house in which everything is yellow, yellow walls, yellow doors, yellow furniture. What color are the stairs? Okay, Ella.
There are no stairs because it's a one-story house.
And
Okay, that was correct. It seems like this is very easy for everybody. Okay, let me take this one. With pointed fangs, I sit and wait. With piercing force, I crunch out fate. Grabbing victims, proclaiming might, physically joining with a single bite. What am I? Did anybody get that?
No.
Okay, let me read it again. With pointed fangs, I sit and I wait. With piercing force, I crunch out faith, grabbing victims, proclaiming might, physically joining with a single bite. What am I? Ella, Ella,
Teeth.
I didn't hear you.
Teeth. Your mouth. Teeth.
That's not the correct answer. Eniola, Eniola,
Snake.
what'd you say?
A snake.
No, that's not the answer is stapler. Okay, so Mrs. Sarah is back. Oh, yeah, she is.
I said
So
the snake. A snake.
yeah, the answer is stapler. It's not snake.
Okay, so I was enjoying the reading. I was actually trying to crack it. And I said, okay, which animal would actually hold its prey in the neck? So, but I thought of a lion, then I said, could it be a vampire? And I had a good laugh in my mind, like, okay, if vampires are real. All right, so but I like the fact it's a stapler. That's very good. Learned a new one today. Okay, so I'm sure I'm back and I hope I'm not breaking.
Very clear.
All right.
Very clear.
Okay, so thank God. I appreciate that. Okay, so the activity up there, um, we can say it's Elizabeth is 16-year-old, is a 16-year-old girl. She has been she has been seen drinking in a bar. She dresses older than her years. She has been seen kissing an older boy. Okay. The older boy works hard to ease own home. Okay. And later she alleges she was raped. So now, the question is, what myths, we just discussed myths now, what myths might affect Elizabeth?
The one that says some women ask for it.
Okay, some women asked for it. Okay, thank you. But what do you think? Do you think that is right based on what we had discussed earlier?
In a way, no. And the other way, yes.
Okay, so that means if someone came to you and said this was the story, you would actually say the 16-year-old girl asked for it, and says the 16-year-old asked for it. Will you agree? What should you tell the person?
It depends on if I know the person. But if it's just if I know all these stories about the person that it is true, in a way I would say she asked for it. But if I don't know her, just a claim, I will be on that is not right.
Okay, so based on when we talk about statutory rape, would you agree that this is rape either ways? And based on
Yes,
the fact
it is
that
a
a
rape.
16-year-old cannot consent to sex?
Yes, it is a rape.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Is there any other person that wants to mention another myth that might just come to your mind? Like, okay, this is the story. This is what I'll immediately think. Okay, so there's Balls the that would like to speak.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning. Can you hear me? They can hear.
Yes, Bolu, we can hear you.
Okay. So for me, I think one of the myths that is going to manifest itself is she dresses older than her years. When if anyone hears this, and for me, I'm a firm believer in dressing does not matter, because anything that has to do with rape has to do with the rapist, no matter the situation. And this can work against her. The fact that she was even in a bar too will work against her, because it's going to be, what were you doing at the bar? But the truth is that just because I'm in a bar doesn't mean I want to have sex. Just because I dress this way doesn't mean I want to have sex with you. Do you understand? And so that's something that is going to follow her. And regardless, statutory rape is sex with anyone that is lower than the age of consent, which in Nigeria is 18, like you've said. So no matter the excuse that anyone may want to give, the fact that she can't give consent is already against whoever has sex with her. I can hear you. Hello?
Hello, please, can you hear me now?
What?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry. I think I want to put off one device. It keeps.
Okay.
All right, so I'll just use this one device that I have.
Okay.
Okay, so you can go on. What myth do you think?
Okay, so I said a myth that can manifest itself is her dressing and saying she was asking for it because they said she's dressing older than her years. And another is where she was, because she was in a bar.
Okay.
People likely say, what were you doing at a bar and you're underage? Those are two things that I think can work against her. And for me, I don't think those things should determine. Just because she's in a bar doesn't mean she wanted to have sex. Even if she dresses what people would consider as inappropriate, doesn't mean she also wanted to have sex. And those are two things that will work against her. For me, when people talk about when statutory rape is brought up, I always say, if you wouldn't put life in someone that is less than 18. For example, in Nigeria, you can't drive a car if you're less than 18. You have to be 18 to get a license. People understand what life is. Why do people try to put sex in the hand of someone who is younger than 18 when you obviously know the person's brain is not developed enough? But why do you want to make it seem like the person's brain is developed enough for an activity like sex? So like that's one thing that I think.
Yes, I like your point of view. I mean, it makes total sense. So if you won't give somebody a car, why do you think sex is is something safer to give a child? So I totally agree with you. And thank you for the contribution. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Okay, so would there be any other person that wants to make a contribution, or do we go forward? Okay, so let's go to the next thing. So what are the signs we should look for in a perpetrator? What are the signs we should look for in a perpetrator? Okay, so the signs we look for in a perpetrator is now, there are many of these perpetrators. If it's a younger child, all right, they could start by grooming the child, make the family, the aunties, uncle, the parents, make whoever is around the child feel very comfortable with them. So when Uncle this comes, it's just fine. Then finally they say, oh, she's fond of Uncle that. She's fond of Auntie this, he's fond of Auntie that. So they just leave. So, and then you notice that I remember an experience that I had. Okay, so it was a senior friend in the neighborhood that took me to this to the house. And when I got there, there were majorly boys there. And so while I was there, I think she was talking to one of the boys, and then another one called my attention. And I think I was about 10 years old thereabout at this time. So this person called my attention, and while I was there, I don't know what we just talked, and it led on to, but where is your wristwatch and all of that? And I knew my mom just got me a wristwatch, but it wasn't working again. So it went on to say, oh, your wristwatch is not working. I can fix it. So it was like, okay, you know what? Just give me the wristwatch. I'll fix it. What you need to do is to come back and collect the wristwatch. So, I went home that day and I said, okay, he's going to fix it. And that's our number one. They kind of seem to know your need before you are asking for it. And that's because they are paying rapt attention and a close studies. Like imagine a lion and that wants to jump on its prey. The lion is paying full attention on the prey, but the prey is just innocently eating maybe at a way at a grass or licking up water from the stream, and just enjoying the moment, not knowing that there's someone or something watching. So that's exactly how it is. So the truth is that eventually they're able to notice those things that you don't need, I mean that you really need, and then they meet those needs. So that was what that guy did at that time. And so I was like, oh, nice guy. So, but thank God my mom is she's a Hitler of a woman. So I got home that day and realized that, my God, if my mom should ask me where's your wristwatch, I'm done for. So I said I better run along to collect the wristwatch. Now that was another child, the mind of a child. And I ran back to the house and I said, where's my wristwatch? When I give my wristwatch. But the truth is that at that point I was even vulnerable. He could have, done anything to me at that point since I got there. But I was glad that, okay, he returned the wristwatch and then I ran back. So the truth is, they try to build the trust and then they make it seem like they are the only ones that care about you. They make the child seem like, oh, this is, I care about you. You say, I'm always telling you, nobody cares about you in your family, I care about you. Now they now begin to find attempts, they find ways to be alone with the person, find ways to be alone with the person. Secondly, they ask for a secrecy in the relationship. They ask for secrecy in the relationship. They say, okay, you know what? This is what is going on between you and I. Since I'm doing you all of these favors, as you don't really need to let everybody know what I'm doing to you or for you. Now, after that, now you know that they make the survivor or the victim, the target, begin to feel indebted. The perpetrator makes them feel indebted. And now, after they feel indebted, now, for example, he fixes my wristwatch for me. And then the next thing he says, okay, so I think I deserve a kiss for fixing your wristwatch. A 10-year-old or even an adult too. Okay, don't you think I deserve a kiss for fixing your car? Don't you think I deserve a kiss for making sure that your notes are complete? So just something. So they begin to push the section, and then you feel like, okay, maybe a kiss is not that bad. And so that's one step after the other. Now, eventually they begin to blame the target for everything and everything. This is just to break down her self-esteem or her self-confidence. And then they lie to you. They lie to the target about big things, about insignificant things. They just lie. And so eventually the target begins to feel, okay, maybe it's just normal. Okay, maybe he just did it because he cares so much. Okay, maybe. So you begin to second guess. So the truth is, if you're in a relationship and you feel any of these things, I think you should closer, look closer at the person you are dealing with. Now, if he tries to know a lot about your own past without actually delving or going deep into his own past, now you have to be careful because he could use this as a blackmail to weaken the self-confidence of the target. So with that being said, how can we prevent sexual assault or sexual abuse? What do I do? Now, the truth is, we thank God for the ability that we can move from place to place. We are not prisoners. So the truth is, yes, you can go from one place to another place. It's okay to hang out. It's okay to meet somebody new. Okay. So, but now at any point, wherever you are with this person, you have to ask yourself, am I in a safe or an unsafe location or situation? Where I am, can I just quickly say, hey, and then, 10 people are around you already? Can somebody hear you? Is the generator blaring? I know of somebody that said, oh, she entered the generator was blaring, blaring. And at the time the guy was going to perpetrate the act, he just increased the volume of the TV and he said, you know what, nobody will hear you here. And then the door was locked. So no matter how much he was going to shout, the gen was on, TV was on, like very loudest. And so everything just, he raped her and that was all. So now you have to now begin to ask yourself, this conversation I'm having with the person, where our conversation is going to, is it comfortable with me? Is this what I imagined we'll be talking about? So you have to consider where you are and the kind of conversations you're having. So if there's any red flag to it, I think it's time to say bye bye and let's leave this place. I think it's time to say, okay, you know what, I'm not going down that way. Let's just stay here. Let's sit out here. It's okay. This place is fine. I don't have to be alone with you in the room. We can just be, in the lagoon front. We can just be, at the fast food place, and then we can have our privacy. Now begin to ask yourself, is this touch safe or is it unsafe? So is he hugging you? Is he hugging you in a way that, okay, it's an okay hug? Is he holding your hands in a way that, okay, it's just an handshake or it is more than an handshake? Okay, so you have to be able to ask yourself. I know that there are different. When I was growing up, secondary school, university and all, sometimes it will be like if a guy should shake you and tickle you in the middle of your palms, that there's a sign to it that is asking, oh, let me go to bed with you. So I know that right now there probably will be more slangs or more body languages, but you have to learn those body languages so that you know, because there'll be body language. Trust me, he might not say with his mouth, but there'll be body language. So we have to learn body languages that are conversant with the generation, and then you can be able to detect or know that this is unsafe. It's an unsafe touch. Now, eventually, if you have, or if you're questioning any of these behaviors or activities or anything from the person that is your friend, person that you least can even imagine would do anything like that, it's okay to find somebody you trust and you can confide in. So someone that is available, somebody that is approachable, share your story, ask questions. But he did this the other day. What do you think about it? Ask questions about sex education, like I said, and whatever red flags you have noticed, discuss also with a trusted person. Okay. And now we have to also learn to be assertive. You have to learn. So he tells you to, what, just give me a kiss on my cheeks, and you're not comfortable with it. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. Do you understand? I know sometimes you might be afraid, oh, if I say no, maybe he'll think I don't like, maybe he will not like me again and all of that. But the truth is, if a guy loves you, he loves you. It's not dependent on the fact that he says, kiss me, I don't kiss him, and then he walks away. Never. For a guy, he will even say, oh, this is challenging. Wow. I have to stay here and see more of this and all that. So you don't have to be afraid, like, oh, I don't want to ward him off, so let me just do what he's saying. Do you understand? So we have to learn to be, and so to be assertive is not something you get to do or you're able to do just right there when you're in the situation. No, it's something you already begin to train and prepare. And how can you train and prepare? Create scenarios in your head. Okay, so what if I enter his car, he puts on his central lock, what am I going to do? You begin to ask yourself, and and so that is preparing your mind and training yourself so that when the situation come, you already, I pray we don't have to face those kind of scenarios or situations, but then there's no harm in preparing yourself ahead. Okay, so that's because the truth is that in scenarios like that, why we have found that a lot of people are not able to do anything is because fear. It's because of fear. When they come to the scenario, you are afraid, and fear paralyzes actually. And so the truth is, the person is confused about what to do. It's like getting into an exam hall and you did not prepare at all for any of the questions. You'll be afraid, and then you'll be paralyzed. You don't even know what exactly to do. Okay, so but if you have been already preparing this assertiveness, you already create scenarios in your head. The truth is that you'll be more prepared. Peradventure, you face a situation like that. Okay, I believe we're still together.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. All right. So we'll be rounding up shortly. I know we're almost going like over an hour now. Okay, so symptoms of sexual assault, we have the physical, emotional, behavioral, psychological. So anybody that has gone through that has experienced sexual assault or rape will actually experience these symptoms. And in truth is there are short-term symptoms, those things that begin to happen immediately, and then there are long-term, those things that now begin to happen after a long time if the person did not go through counseling and psychotherapy, adequately. And the truth is, many a times on the long term, we don't even know that what our behaviors today or what the way we react is as a result of the sexual assault of years back. Okay, so but we are going to see some of the symptoms and then we can be able to trace it. So even at the end of this, if we think like, oh, this is traced to what I've experienced, we can always come into worry for a session, or even do a phone call counseling. All right, so physical symptoms, we can see bruising, laceration in the vagina, bleeding in the vagina, difficulty in walking. So you could see a small child, that is walking, not balanced. It's okay to question, why are you walking like that? Soreness. So you find out maybe weakness, body pains. There could be broken or dislocated bones depending on how the perpetrator struggled, or the survivor struggled with the perpetrator. And then we've seen cases whereby this could happen even on a long term. A young girl that has been was sexually consistently. The way her parents noticed was that she began to, she was having terrible discharge. And then, why are you having this? Did you, this small girl? And then it was questioned and was discovered that she was being assaulted. She had been, a long time. The person had been constantly assaulting her, raping her. So it could end in pregnancy. So the truth is, we have seen 14-year-old come to our center pregnant. We have seen 15-year-old pregnant. So all these are as a result of rape. Emotional symptoms. Yes, the truth is the fellow finds it difficult trusting people. Finds it difficult. I've met someone that the truth is, even to her own cousins that are boys, she just begins to get panic attacks when she's around them. So difficulty trusting people, maybe especially the the opposite sex, whoever was it that sexually assaulted the person. Now there will be anger. Anger can be a long term because the person remains angry with the perpetrator and now becomes very angry whenever he or she feels somebody wants to take advantage of her or him. There's feelings of loss of control because the person feels like, okay, on that day I said no, 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 I tried to struggle, but I still gained control over my body. So a person feels, you know what, I've lost total control over what I can do for myself. But I usually encourage all of my clients that that is not true at all. The only person that can control you is you. Nobody can control you. What he did was to assault you and force you to do what you didn't want to do. Okay, so the truth is, and anybody would actually align like that. But he assaulted you because he knows he can't actually control you. Now, feelings of worthlessness is that feeling like, oh, you know what? This is a valuable thing in my, about me, and this guy has come, he slept with me. Right now, I'm worthless and useless. Which man will agree with me or will love me the way I am? There's nothing more to me, but that's not it. Your self-worth is what you're able to add to other people's life, what you're able to put into your job, what you're able to put into your academics to come out, topmost. And that is what the value actually is. So it is not just about it is not about what happens to the vagina, not at all. So, but you see those symptoms. Now there's a feeling of helplessness. There's a sense of vulnerability. There's a lot of fear. A lot of fear. What do people say if they hear? What if the perpetrator comes back? What if he plans from? A lot of fear. And then the person begins to self-blame. Blame yourself. If I knew, I would have not followed him that night. If I knew, I would have called my friend to follow me. My body was telling me this. My mind was telling me that. So, but the truth is that it is no survivor's fault. It is not your fault at all. It is not your fault at all. No matter how it happened, where it happened, whether they told you don't go, you went, it is not your fault. Because if only the perpetrator decided to control himself, there will be no sexual assault at all. There will be no rape. Okay, so behavioral symptoms, the person could be withdrawn, the person could be moody, there will be loss of interest in things that the person previously enjoyed, because maybe you go to the place, maybe you usually enjoy swimming, and swimming happens the day, you were raped, you suddenly, just because swimming will bring a reminder. so you don't want swimming anymore. Maybe you like wearing jeans, or it was jeans you wore the day it happened. You just don't want to see or sight jeans at all again, because anytime you see jeans, you are getting panic attacks. So there could be tiredness, shortness of breath. This happens also on a long time. It comes with panic attack, involuntary shaking. There could be hypersensitivity, and there could be sexual dysfunction. So the truth is, I've met married women that don't want to have sex. The only time they want to just, okay, do you know what? Because I want a baby. Or any other time, it's reminding, because sex reminds them, gives them a terrible flashback and all. Now, psychological symptom, if not well treated, it can end up in post-traumatic stress disorder. And there's also the complex post-traumatic stress disorder. This is the one the person has experienced multiple rapes by different people at different times, coming on in the person's life. It can end up in complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And so we have depressed feelings. The person can just sit down and start crying, does not even know why he or she is crying. There can be weight loss or weight gain. Okay, a person can begin to eat a lot just to drown the pain, the sorrow, the feelings, or the person can actually stop eating, loss of appetite, as a result of the flashback and thoughts about it. There could be suicidal thoughts or attempts. Now imagine, I'm blaming myself for what has happened, and then my entire family too, they are blaming me. That look at you, look at what you have done. If you did not, if you did not, if you did not. Now I begin to feel, you know what, I'm the one that has caused trouble for everybody. And since I'm at fault, let me just as well die. I don't deserve to be alive. So that could also, it could lead into suicidal thoughts. So that this, I'm telling you this because maybe you are the one, maybe there's someone around you. Blaming is actually a negative thing to do. We don't blame anybody that is a survivor. Dissociation, this happens after a long time. The person has been severally assaulted. The person, if a person is going to experience rape, a person can just go numb. It's like the body is just dead. All right, so I know that maybe I'm trying to rush up a bit. Now, what do you do if you have been sexually assaulted? What do you do if you have been sexually assaulted? Number one is please ensure that you just move to a safe place, or move the person to a safe place. All right, now keep whatever evidence you have for prosecution of the perpetrator. At that point in time, I know many a times, many survivors, they are just like, you know what I need right now is to forget. So I don't even want to, I'm not thinking of prosecution, let that one just go by himself. But it gets to a point you wake up to the fact that, you know what, I should have reported this person to the law enforcement agents. So the truth is, keep whatever evidence you may have. Now, physical symptoms will need medical attention. Like I said earlier, lacerations, bleeding, broken, whatever, scratches or injuries, whatever it may be, we need medical attention. So it's good to go to the nearest hospital, or you could come to WARIF. Now, you have to decide if you want the law enforcement to, if you want to report to the law enforcement agent. So as a person, it's okay, but if you are dealing with a minor, it's just to help or support the minor, it's okay to go to the law enforcement agent. But if you are dealing with an adult, okay, so you have to get the person's buy-in, readiness to report to the law enforcement agent. So now you have to know that the emotional, behavioral, psychological symptoms, they all need psychosocial counseling and therapy. Now, let me tell you what you would expect, or what you expect to do for any survivor that goes to the hospital, or that will come. I know someone, like I saw someone from Abuja. So I know that maybe if it happens in Abuja, coming to Lagos to WARIF Center might not be realistic. So, but you could get to a hospital, ensure that there's an head to toe forensic examination done, and so that they can note down whatever they find. Okay, the findings are in a report. Let there be a vaginal examination. The doctor also will note down what should be done. We do all this in WARIF. Now, let there be an assessment, okay, for emergency contraception. A female, please make sure she takes emergency contraceptive immediately. I told you about the 14-year-old, 15-year-olds that were pregnant. In fact, I still saw a 23-year-old recently that was pregnant. It was as a result of rape. And she did not just know, she didn't take contraception. She didn't even know she was pregnant until maybe after 4 months. People were like, you look pregnant. and she ran a test and found out. Now, so you can imagine, the effects. Now, there should be prophylactic antibiotics. So you should be giving antibiotics at that time in case, the person could have any kind of STIs. This will help fight away and prevent any sexually transmitted infection. Now, there should also be post-exposure prophylactics. I need you to know that all these things, there are certain times it can be taken. So that means within the first 5 days that it happened, if you have not taken emergency contraception, I'm sorry, it might be too late. So within the first 5 days, okay, before the fifth day, make sure that contraceptive has been taken. Now, this PEP is to prevent HIV. So peradventure the perpetrator is HIV positive. Okay, so you have a window of 72 hours. As soon the assault occurs, the rape occurs now, 72 hours after is your window to start on PEP drugs and take PEP drugs, that's post-exposure prophylaxis against HIV. In case, I know, like I say, HIV, they show for face. The truth is that you could see a very robust person that will have HIV. So it's not to say, oh, the boy is good looking, the girl is good, so she does, there's no rape. She's not HIV, or sorry, it's not HIV positive. You can't conclude like that. So you have to make sure that the health center, the hospital where you go to, asks for all these things for the person you have taken there, or even, or for yourself, depending what the case might be. Now, ensure you go through a trauma counseling. The truth is that the shame you feel, the survivor will feel, will make the person feel like, you know what, I'll just forget this, I'll sleep it off, I'll bury it, somehow I'll deal with it, I'm resilient, I can't go and tell somebody. It's because of shame. That's why those results come. But the truth is, it will just cause more decay and things will get very bad. So it's important you're exposed to trauma counseling, individual counseling, or support group counseling. We do all this at the WARIF Center. We also offer the phone counseling. So, adventure, or you can come to Lagos, rather than, I know all these services that we saying we offer are all free. But if you are going to pay a counselor, you probably be paying a counselor not less than 15,000 per session. Okay, so not saying that we shouldn't patronize counselor. I'm a counselor. You should patronize me too, and all of that. But no. But since we have this facility that is able to provide this, it won't be nice that you have just faced. The person has just faced assault and is having to make all this kind of payments. It can be very discouraging. So that's why at our center we make it available and it is for free. So you can join right now. We're also running the virtual support group. Okay, so we'll be running one soon. If you just follow us on our Instagram page, you'll see it later on. You'll be able to keep track of it and when it's going to start. Follow the link, register, and all of that. Okay, so all this you can also tell your friend. Remember, this information is not just for you, but it's also for your neighbor. Be your neighbor's keeper. Journey to recovery. Now, if there's someone here that has been sexually assaulted, I need you to know that whatever symptoms that I mentioned earlier that you are facing is not your reality. Okay, these symptoms is just like a person that comes down with malaria. The person will have high fever, the person will have headaches, but that's not the true nature of your body. That's not how your body functions in itself. So once the malaria is treated, your body comes back to the normal temperature and you're not having headaches again. So the truth is that all those things are symptoms, but they are not who you are. So the truth is, don't dwell in them, don't accept them as who you are. Okay, but let's work towards getting, overcoming those symptoms. Let's get towards being able to cope positively with them. So now we need to know, like I mentioned earlier, it is not the survivor's fault. I mentioned earlier also, speak out to a trusted person. Talk therapy is very important if you have been sexually assaulted. Now we have to also learn to cope with the feelings of shame and guilt. And that is most importantly knowing that it is not your fault. It is not your fault. Whatever has happened, or if it was that I went to the boys' place, You are not the first person that has gone to a boy's place. But the reason why this boy assaulted you is because he could not just put himself together. Okay, it's because he could not control himself. So it is his fault. Not tolerating the fact that he can't control himself. He should be able to control. If he put if he closed up, if he zipped up, the truth is none of this would have happened. So it is not your fault at all. Now we have to learn to cope with our flashbacks. Learn to cope with flashbacks. Okay. We have to be able to learn deep breathing, mindfulness. If you go to your online, you'll find something like this. Just trying to be able to bring your mind back to the present, because your mind begins to panic attacks comes like heavy panting and all that, like losing concentration, because you feel like, oh, what happens that day is about to happen now. So but it's okay to take a deep breath and begin to remind yourself, take notice of what is around you. Okay, no, I'm in my room, the walls are blue. Okay, that's my towel hanging there, the fan is moving. I'm not in the situation whereby I'm going to be sexually assaulted again. So walking like that while you are taking a deep breath, breathing in, breathing out is going to soon calm you down. Now you have to reconnect your body and your feeling, and then nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. Okay, so now how can you help a survivor? Depending on when the assault occurred, help the survivor access medical and psychosocial services, please. Like I've been saying about, if you're in Lagos, WARIF is one place. So involve the law enforcement agency if the survivor is willing to report the case. Like I said, if he's an adult, if she's willing, if he's willing, please report. If he's a young person below 18, please just help the person and report. Be empathetic. So don't start listening and in your mind you're already, I will notice when you're having a body language. Okay, so be empathetic, listen, believe the survivor. Now please help the survivor also understand that it is not his or her fault. What has happened is totally the perpetrator's fault. Now, don't be judgmental. We get this a lot in our environment. We are already, you too now, you'd have not worn that skirt. You too now, you would have told me to escort you. Why did you go out late? You've already, there's nothing else you want to say to that survivor that the person is going to listen. But what the person needs at that time is, you know what? Feel her pains and listen. Just quietly listen and just feel the pain she's feeling. That's all. Maintain confidentiality. Don't go to prayer. Please, we need to join Sister Esther to pray because she was raped yesterday. Everybody in the prayer meeting will go, really? Okay, let's pray. They pray, they end up praying. But you know what? It's no more a secret. It's no more confidential. So eventually, you really need to maintain confidentiality to help the survivor. How can you be an advocate? You can join the WARIF volunteers simply by sending an email to info@warifng.org. Okay, so you see I'm rounding up now. So please, if you have your questions, let's already begin to put them together and you can send them if you have your questions. So we can make good use of social media. So you have your WhatsApp, your Instagram, you have your Twitter. So you can always just put out something that will trend, that will reach out to someone, either to encourage or to create awareness, or just something surrounding sexual assault and rape that can help someone else. Okay. So now we can also organize more conferences like this to create awareness. So these are the different ways I've stated that we can be an advocate. Now, finally, WARIF Center um, is on number 6 Dutton Street off Tobon Avenue, Yaba, Lagos. Okay, and you can reach us on our confidential helpline 08092100009. That's our website, and that's our email, info@warif.ng.org. So if you want to be a volunteer, you can send an email, and then you'll be the head of the volunteer team would reach out to you. And then that's our Facebook page, and that's our Twitter handle, our Instagram handle. Okay. And so I would like to say a big thank you to every one of us that listened or that has been here, that has stayed with me for this long, for this time. Okay, so and that ends it. Thank you so much, Madam Arienta. I'll just stay back here as I wait for the questions to come in.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Sarah. We
Yes,
are very
ma'am.
grateful. We are very, very, in fact, like I said, we gulped. We didn't sip. We gulped. And there's so many things, and some questions are going through my
Yes.
mind. And I'm sure all the girls, too, they have questions to ask, So
Okay.
I'm going to give Ochuko and Dorothy, they are our MC for the day, to anchor
Okay.
this part. Okay, so Ochuko.
Okay, thank you, Auntie Sarah. Thank you very,
All
like,
right.
very, very much. I'm going to
I'm
start off
glad to be of
with my own
help.
question.
Just a
Um,
minute, bro. Ochiko,
my question, yeah?
sorry, I can't see my screen, so I can't see the screen, so I will log out and log back in. Just a minute, so you can
Okay,
continue.
no problem. No problem. I'm going to start with my own question. My question is, how can you help somebody that tries, not intentionally blame the victim, but like person is trying to, I want to understand. I want to understand why you were here. But the person is coming about it off as being insensitive, not emotionally intelligent towards the situation. So how can you help somebody who wants to understand why this happened or is trying to help out, but is not coming off in the right way?
Okay, so now you're saying that the person that has been sexually assaulted is not coming up in the right way. Is that what you're saying?
No, like someone was assaulted or someone was raped and the person is talking to somebody about it, but the person that is being spoken to is trying to understand the situation, but is coming off rude or coming off insensitive and sort of blaming the victim, but the person is not intentionally doing it. The person is just trying to understand. So like, what is the balance where you can ask questions on why this happened, but at the same time not try to blame the victim or sound like you're blaming the victim?
Okay. All right. So now if someone comes to you, okay, and she says she has been sexually assaulted, all right. So now maybe I'll just give you a little tips, because at that time you stand to be her counselor, okay. So at that time you stand to be a counselor. So what you should do is she comes in, or and she's talking. Now you have to avoid the why questions. Don't say, why did you go with him? Don't say, why did you stay late? Don't say, so I know, yes, you want to ask question, you want to know more. Okay, so but she comes in, she's crying. What happened can do. Now she's vibrating, she doesn't know where to start from. You could tell her it's okay, you can just tell me. All right. So what happened? What, are you okay? Why are you, like, not, okay. So at that time, if she's crying, so you just allow her to cry. If she's done crying, so you tell her that, would you like to talk about it? All right. So now the truth is, if she's not willing to speak either, you could just leave her at that time. If she's willing to speak and she starts to speak, all you need to do is just pay rapt attention. Give her your full concentration. So she's talking, you're listening to her. It's not like she's talking, you're on your phone, or you tell her, you know what, hold on, wait, I'm coming. Let me just tell this person I'll soon. No, whoever is calling you, you just put it aside. So at that time, she knows, oh, this person really wants to listen, and that's all she needs. Now, while you're listening, like you see the story of Elizabeth we posted earlier, There's everything moving you. And I'll tell you that the truth is, even as a counselor, I won't come out like honest as thou. There are some stories that I hear, and eventually I'm almost saying, oh my God, but why did you, I'm almost, but I remember that that's not what will help her at all. Right now, the objective is to help the person in front of me, which is also your objective. So the truth is, right now, you are on our side. So you can't, why did you go there? Why did you do this? Cannot help her at that time. So it's just for you to try to understand the scenario, all right, and stand on her side, feel her pain, as it were, wear her shoes. Because the truth is, it could have been anybody. It could have been, sometimes you say, oh no, I'm smarter than that, but I don't agree. It could have been anybody. So you can feel the pain she feels, and then based on what you see from her perspective, now you're standing from her perspective on her side, then you can now begin to talk, but make sure you avoid the why questions. It's okay to ask further questions like, okay, when did it happen? And she says it was 8 p.m. after we finished eating dinner. It's okay to ask those questions, those kind of what will help you know or understand more. But avoid the why questions because they tend to blaming the survivor. I hope I answered that question well.
Yes, thank you very much. Dorothy.
Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I'll just be reading out questions from the chat box now. So I have a question from Mrs. P. She says, on giving consent, going to a guy's house and dressing nude, does that indicate consent?
Okay,
Would you like
going
me to read
to a
everything, or you take it one by one?
Okay, all the questions. Okay, maybe we should take it. Let's just take it one by one. I think
Okay.
I'll just make it brief so that I don't lose track of the questions. So, if you go to a guy's house and dressing naked, is that? I mean, you undress. Is that consent? Now, the
Yes.
truth is that I would not. I would say it's a risky move. Because if you look at those things I said, that how to prevent sexual assault, I would say it's a risky move. Why? Because only you have control over yourself. You cannot control another human being. So, in as much as we say everybody should learn to self-control and the perpetrator should be able to control himself, the truth is that you don't know if he had gathered himself in terms of self-control. So you can't go there, and undressing. Albeit, if you undress your nude and then it comes at you, and you tell him, you know what, I'm not interested. Okay, I know I'm dressing here, but I'm not interested. I'm not ready for this. The truth is, it seemed like you gave your consent, but you have taken consent back. So you haven't given consent. Do you understand? So, but if it
Okay.
comes at you, you're naked and you're fine with it, and then you're all kissing. In fact, you're the one making the first move. That's you consenting to it. But if it comes to you, you say no, then that is you not giving consent. All right.
Sorry,
So,
sorry, ma'am.
thank you
I
for
just
that.
want to clarify. I believe her angle is, if I'm not correct, Mrs. P, please correct me. I believe her angle is not dressing decent in terms of, oh, there's decent dressing and dressing like, okay, let's say you wear something short. Would that
Okay.
give the person consent? Going to their house and dressing, okay, you wear something short, not necessarily you removed your clothes.
Okay. So like I said also, I think it's still my response still answers the question. If indifferent, the way you dress it has nothing to do with, because I asked her, okay, now if I wear um if I wear a tube and a very mini skirt, okay, and I'm walking the streets and I see this guy, is the guy going to rape me in the middle of the street? No, because at that point he knows he's in public. He knows people are watching. So what he's going to do maybe is that he might get me to a corner and rape me there. So now that's to tell you that it is a lot. It has to do a lot with the perpetrator. So it's not about what you're wearing. Yes, we should, as Christian young girls, I believe, yes, we have the Holy Spirit, we have the Lord leading us, and the truth is, we would not. Sometimes you dress, and then the Holy Spirit is telling you, um, don't just go and change the top or change that, or that is too revealing. So that's personally, and I'm sure we've been taught that we should dress modestly, true. But for us to say, if we're going to generalize, not everybody in the world are born again Christians. And so the fact that she dresses in a very, very terrible manner does not mean that she's calling for sex. Not at all. Not at all. All right. It might, it's your knowledge that has made you know that, okay, I should dress modest. For another person, what her knowledge is just dress to slay. You know what? I just want to slay. I just want to kill. That's her own idea. And so she says, okay, you know what? I look good in the mirror and I'm fine with it. And so she's going out, but she didn't, looking into the mirror, she's not saying, you know what? I'm dressed like this because I want someone to rape me. No. All right. So it's just her level of understanding that has made her to dress like that. So we don't condemn. All right. We just hope that, okay, everyone gets or attains a level of maturity or of knowledge, that will be also, helpful, or that will present the person presents the person well, as it were. So I hope the question too is answered. So sensual or sexual dress sense or dressing, it's not a reason why a person should be sexually assaulted. No, it's not. It's
Okay.
just one of the myths.
Thank you so much. Another question. Eniola says, thank you for the enlightenment. I would like to ask, how do we help ourselves to get over these myths? Because they are kind of ingrained. You're used to thinking this way. So how can we switch the way we think about the myths and blaming victims for this or that?
Okay, so I believe that that was one of the intentions or the purpose of taking you through the myths. So because what you don't know, and if you do it innocently, it's not against you. So but now you maybe some of us must have taken some pictures of the slides. You are made to now. So right now, your knowledge before is being questioned now. And like you questioned the knowledge you had before. And you know what, I didn't just only give you the myth, I also gave you the facts, and I tried to explain some of the facts. So that's for you to say, okay, is this what I used to believe before? Okay, is this okay, this is what I should think now. So it has to do with now self improvement or self training, as it were. Like with what you have learned today, now begin to work on yourself to be able to see that all these things are just myths. Because I will present, like I said earlier, okay, so you see a 54-year-old man that has sexually assaulted a 7-year-old girl. Can you tell me that it's because of the 7-year-old, the way she dressed? Can you tell me it's because she went to visit the person she calls grandpa in the house? Okay, a professional man, a HO is there's no excuse for the perpetrator. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. So and if a young girl has been sexually assaulted, I didn't mention earlier, but if a young girl has been sexually assaulted, the truth is that it takes grace to really talk about it. It takes grace to really talk about it, because she will have to get to a point of healing before she can come out in the open here to tell you I've been sexually assaulted. And there are some that, okay, eventually they come out. So the truth is, while I know that there are some girls nowadays that will just lie, just to frame, maybe it's a bad relationship gone, a relationship gone bad. But the truth is, a large number, as in like a 90%, 95%, that would eventually come out to speak, is actually true that they were sexually assaulted. Okay, so I hope that answers the question too.
Okay.
Right, we have some hands up.
Okay.
We
Should
have
I
like,
speak first?
yes, because
Okay.
okay, so we have Bolu. Bolu, you can speak. Then after that we have okay.
Okay, thank you. Can you guys, Ochko, can you guys?
Your
Yes, we
line
can,
is
Bolo.
breaking a bit.
Okay. Ochko, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So thank you so much, Mrs. Sarah, thank you so much.
You're
Like this was
welcome.
really good to hear.
Thank
And I
you.
have some comments, questions. Um, for me, I feel like something to solidify in terms of consent is that consent can be withdrawn even in the middle of sexual activity. For
Yes.
example, even if I agree and I say, okay, you know what, I want to have sex, and even if we're in the middle of the act and I say, please, you know what, stop, I'm
Mm,
not feeling it again, or I don't want to, I don't even have to give you a reason to tell you I don't want again, stop. The moment after I say stop and the other party proceeds or moves forward, from that moment on, after I've withdrawn consent, that it counts as rape. And that's one thing that most people don't really take into consideration, because people are just like, oh well, she already said she wanted it, now they were already having sex, so how can she come out and say it was rape? If consent was withdrawn in the middle of activity, and any activity that occurs after consent was withdrawn is classified as rape. Then for people who like to rationalize and say dressing contributes to rape, I always give them statistics and tell them India and Pakistan are they are the highest recorders of sexual assault and rape in the whole world. Now, if we're talking about modesty, these are supposed to be the epitome of modesty. If we're talking about modesty, these are people that are dressed covered from head to toe. Yet they are the highest recorded. Those are the ones that I even talked about. So that's something that I tell people. Now, the truth is, you can take every available step not to be raped and still be raped. You can do everything in your power and still end up unfortunate. And that's one thing people need to understand. That okay, how about people that were raped in their father's houses, like you said, people that were raped by their fathers, their sisters, their uncles? How exactly were they supposed to, fight it? Like anything. So if we keep rationalizing, then we're not going to move forward. Those are my comments. Then for me, a question I have is, are there gray lines when it comes to rape? Because people like to say, oh, in this kind of situation, this might have happened, that might have happened. For example, the 16-year-old girl example you gave, where you said she was underaged. If it's a situation where she lied about her age to the man, and the man seriously believed that she was older, he believed that she was of legal age, and he has sex with her, at that point, can you fault him for having sex with her? That's my question.
okay. So the fact, I mean, that is also something to think about, that um there's a young girl and then she looks older than her age. But the truth is that we know that children will still look in a way children. There will be some form of suspicion for the guy. And the truth is, in most cases, the guy knows. Remember, I told you that he's a predator.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, he's watched his prey, and so he knows from the way she speaks, from the way she reacts, from her, the category of friends that she has. So there's something inside of him that knows that this girl is young. He will know where she's coming from. He will know her home somehow, somewhere. So there'll be something to link it. So, but the truth is, it also spells for every young man too, or whoever it is, that you should be careful. Whoever it is, before there's any penetration at all, it should be someone that is well known. Because based on a case like that, if the girl gets her parents go to the police to report, the truth is that the person will be picked up. I mean, we've had a case of a young girl, okay, that went to her boyfriend's place, spent a week there. The guy ended up in Panti. It was this girl that left her father and mother's house and said they were stressing her. She went to camp in the guy's house. Okay. So now the truth is, looking at her physiologically, she can pass for an 18 or 19-year-old. So this guy could tell himself, you know what, okay, she speaks like a child, but she tells me she's 18-year-old. It's just all about, so, but at that time when he's been arrested, I think he will have to dance to the music of being ignorant to whatever he has done. Okay. So basically that's it. I think so everyone too, I mean you need to should watch out actually.
Thank you.
Okay, essay. Essay, you can speak. Tolu.
Hello.
Okay, no problem. Essay, yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, it was a mistake. Sorry. I'm okay. Thank-
Essay, do you have a question to ask?
No, no, no.
Okay, Tolu.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Miss Sarah. Thank you so much
Good
for
afternoon.
the class. Thank you for everything that you have explained to us. It does shed so much light on a lot of things that I did not understand in the past. So I have I have two questions, but I think you've already answered one with regards to withdrawing consent, in the middle of the act. But I'll narrate the scenario. So I was watching a movie on African Magic with my mom, and there were these, young girls, 16, 17, 15, and they felt like, small boys were giving them chewing gum money, and they wanted, big money. So they were going for older married men that were old enough to be their fathers. So this other girl introduced her friend to the business, and she was like, "Leave all these small boys, they don't have money, right?" Now these are small children that are not supposed to be up to the age to give consent because they are below 18, right?
Okay.
So they go out and they engage with these guys and these men rather. And so then she has her own customer, and then she gives her friend who is new to the business to her customer's friend. And then she sits on his leg, they're kissing, they're doing all sorts. And then they go into the room and it's time to get down. And, she starts, just like Bolu said. I mean, Bolu already answered it that, like, in between, you can withdraw consent. So she started, and, along the line, she felt like, oh, I don't want to do this again. And the man was like, you have got to be kidding. What did you follow me in here for? So he raped her at the end of the day. And then she told her friend that he raped me. And she was like, what do you mean he raped you? What did he come here for? This is what we came here to do now. So what do you mean he raped you? She said, she changed her mind in the middle that she's not doing again. She said, come on, go and clean up and, get your acts together. That's what we came here for. Better make your money. So along the line, she started to enjoy it. And she was enjoying the money and she was enjoying the attention. Right? So what do you have to say for underage kids that don't even feel like there's anything wrong with what they're doing? Because they can't come if those kind of people come up tomorrow and say, oh, throughout my say from 16 to or from 14, because they were really young, they were like 14. So say from 14 to 18, oh, I've been raped severally. Can they come out to say they were raped? Because I mean they're not old enough to give consent, but I don't know if we can say psychologically they've been brainwashed to think that it was okay to do what they were doing. I know a lot of young girls like that's what they're doing. They'd rather go out with married men, 14, 15-year-old girls. And I have seen this one because I've been in the same community with a few of them. And I've tried to understand why. They can't come up. I feel like they can't come up more to say they were raped because they know what they're doing. And, they went for it. So what do you have to say to those kind of people? And how do you help them understand that you're not even old enough to give consent?
Okay.
So that's my
All right. So yes, the your question, I would see how best to be able to answer it. So let me start off to say now with two, I know we already understand the fact that sex, I already mentioned earlier, having sex with a young girl below 18, whether consensual, well, as it were, like you said, the girl agreed to it, the girl did not agree to it, okay, is rape. So it's either rape, I mean, that's called statutory rape, like I explained earlier. So even if she says, oh, it's my boyfriend, but that boyfriend is older, way older, I mean, he's an adult, it's rape. Okay. Now, like a 16-year-old that I talked about that went to her boyfriend's place, and this boyfriend is like a 20-something or 30-year-old boy. Now, the truth is, her mindset is, this is my boyfriend. I love him, okay? And he's having sex with me. Eventually, if the guy breaks her heart, she will suffer the emotional symptoms of heartbreak. So it can be the emotional symptoms of rape, okay? Because at the time she was having sex with him, for her it was consensual, for her it was okay, all right, she was enjoying whatever she was doing, so she wasn't forced or coerced to do it. So but at the end of the day, if she gets a heartbreak when he leaves her, which is something that will naturally happen, then she begins to feel the symptoms of heartbreak, and just feel cheated and all of that, basically. But when we are looking at it from the law, that guy has raped us, is a statutory rape. Okay. Now, for some of these girls now, like I'll say, remember you talked about circle of friends. If we're going to investigate further, interview these girls in this circle, you will find out that most of them in the circle have actually been sexually assaulted. That was where they started from. It was so I've seen I've seen young girls that they say go and buy something for Malam. She gets to Malam. Malam will say, let me touch your breast. I'm talking about maybe, the breast that is just surfacing, the 9-year-olds, the 10-year-old. So she finds out that, okay, Malam touches her breast. There's no harm in it. Then Malam says, you know what? Anything in my shop, you can take it. So that's the first point of call to make her feel like she can use her body to get what she wants. So it's a matter of time when as soon as she's comfortable with, like I said, the perpetrator begins to push the boundaries. So it's initially kiss me on the cheek, then kiss me on the lips, take whatever you want, then let me touch your breast, take whatever. She becomes fond with him. So eventually she's going deeper and not even understanding. Something tells her this is wrong, this is bad, but then she's going so. But before she knows it, she's raped. I mean, the penetration happens, and then he will give her what she wants to wipe her tears away. And so she has started like that. So eventually, like you said in the movie, so why settle for the small boys that will give her the small money? She should just quickly get it done with big people that will give her big money. So eventually she goes on with that mindset. But there comes a point in time at an adult age that a reawakening comes. For some people, you see, find out that maybe they end up, just taking on the profession of becoming a prostitute. All right, they just, continue like that, and that's because at that point, like I said, all the symptoms have set in: feelings of worthlessness, there's low self-esteem, no confidence, loss of interest, maybe they don't even want to study anymore, and all of that. So the symptoms come in, and that is what keeps them in there. So it's not like, it looks like, oh, she's okay with it. No, it's the symptoms taking a toll on her. So when you come, because she feels, oh, when you tell her that, no, but you know that you can make something good of your life, she takes a whole look at the life and wonders what's remaining in this. Please stop patronizing me. I beg, please just go. If God has favored you, be favored on your own and leave me like this in my own corner. And she continues to self-pity and just goes on like that, thinking that's all life has to offer her. Okay. So basically these are the angles to these things. So like now we can't just say a prostitute, and just no, you can't condemn you can't judge a prostitute, someone that's taken on to the profession of being a prostitute like that. No, it started from somewhere. Okay, there are some people that have been constantly, assaulted. I was speaking to a young person between the ages 10 to 14. She was constantly assaulted by a neighbor. At another time, she was gang raped. So that erodes her sense of worth. It just erases it. And then the devil begins to sell to her that, you know what, that's what your body has been created for. And God doesn't care about you. And so eventually, tell me, so if she has to continue, she just continues to live her life like that. So that's why we really need to, in a way, unless you're able to feel their pain, you don't know how to help them. Because when you come at them, they already sense that you are judging and they clamp up, they just close up. Okay, so I hope I was able to answer that question.
Yes, ma. But now, what I want to know is how do you help them come out of it? How do you help those people see from this perspective and help them understand that this is why you are the way you are? Like, how do you help them get better and get out of it?
Okay, so now the truth is, I just wish, like, I mean, I know everybody cannot be a counselor. So I think one of the ways is now listen to them. Now you have this information for WARIF, professional counselors, and it can even be on phone. So I've had people call in and say, "Oh, my friend gave me WARIF number and said that I am that it looks like I have the symptoms and so I need help." So she assured me that there's confidentiality and I should call in. So and then they call in and then the sessions are arranged and all of that. So I've had calls like that, you know, of a friend suggesting to a friend that what, just go for counseling. And so you encourage them to do that because the reason why, you see, if every survivor was able to go through adequate counseling immediately after the assault, then they know what to expect. They know the symptoms to expect. But when they don't go through the counseling, the symptoms comes as a bombardment on their senses. They are too ashamed to share to another person that they feel like that because they feel weird and they feel it's not normal. They know it's not normal, but they don't know how to explain it to another person. Okay, so they just feel like, what, I will sleep it off. But unfortunately, it begins to surface in their behavior. Unconsciously, it surfaces in their behavior. So the best thing is just to go through psychosocial counseling after. So one of the ways you can help, you can learn some counseling skills, but the quickest one you can learn to help the person is to be an empathetic listener. All she needs you to do is just listen. Just listen to her. And when you're done listening, find how to let her know that it's not her fault. That's just it. Okay, and listening has to do with your body language. Listening has to do with the questions you are asking. She will know if you are listening. Okay, pay attention, be empathetic. Empathetic is different from sympathetic. So sympathetic is, oh, okay, sorry, it happened now. Okay, okay, it's well, Sha, God will help you, it's well. Okay, so but being empathetic is you try to feel the person's pain. You try to feel the person's pain. So in as much as it cannot be directly that with the person that experienced it, but she will know if you are feeling her pain. Okay, so that's it. So once you're able to listen to her, you can now recommend that she can do phone counseling or she can come to the center, see counselors. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you then.
Okay, I will just read two more questions. Ella, Ella, give me a minute. Let me read one question, then you can go ahead. Is that fine? Okay. So I have a question from Mrs. P again. She says, in case of marriage, can rape happen in marriage? Considering 1 Corinthians 7:1-5 says, my body as a married woman or man doesn't belong to me. So does the
Okay.
man or woman have the right to have his or her way when the other says no?
Okay, the good thing that is that God has put in a free will in us. So in as much as God is saying that my body is yours, your body is mine, it's all under the purview of two becomes one. But even God understands that He will wait for you to accept Jesus Christ. God owns all of us. We have been created and we are owned by God. But God will still tell us, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior before He now says, oh, okay, now you are saved. Okay, so now this is what I expect of you as my child. All right, we are all children of God, every one of us, and He doesn't want anyone to perish. But He still leaves it to us because He has given us free will, all right, for us to choose. So you don't see God forcing and say, I created you by force, accept Jesus Christ. He hasn't made us robots. And so that's the understanding also, because it says that a man also should love his wife as Christ loves the church. So in as much as God tries to wait for us, to turn to him, then a husband also should be patient enough to allow or help his wife be in the mood for sex, before having sex. So the truth is there's actually marital rape. I took it out of my slide because I know that the law in Nigeria does not cover it. So the law does not agree that there's anything like marital rape. Okay, so but if you're not in the mood, like for example, you could find a case whereby somebody beats his wife and immediately now has sex with her. That's rape. She's not giving her no, I mean, she's upset that you beat her. So there's definitely no her agreeing that you should sleep with her. So that's actually rape. Now you could find a case whereby maybe she's on medications, or maybe she just went through a surgery, and then she said the doctor says that she rest for 1 month. And he says, what kind of rubbish is that? Are you not the one that cooked today? I beg, I beg, I beg. And then that's also rape. So she's not giving her consent. Okay, so as a loving husband, the truth is that he's supposed to be patient as Christ to be patient, understand what is it, why don't you want to have sex, and then maybe try to help her get into the mood of sex. I would say that that's what Christ would do. So if we're hiding it, taking it from the Bible, then we should also follow Christ's example. So really, there's marital rape, but it's not recognized in the law in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I think I have two hands. Before I read the last question in the chat box, I have Ella. Ella, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ma, for everything you've said. We've learned a lot. So I want to ask, there's this thing that it said consent can only be given through words, that either saying yes or no. And then the thing that you said about she's telling him no, and then she's getting undressed and every single thing and all that, and then that means she's taking back her consent. So I also want to ask, the is it consent, is it only given through words or also through body language?
Okay, so I would like to say, okay, so let's make it practical. Okay, so I because like for example, maybe in marriage, maybe like for example, women in this part of the world, many a times we might be, depending on the age, I know maybe like the older women might be shy to say to their husband, you know what, I want to have sex with you. So, but on a good day, you could see her, she's undressed on the bed and she's closing up to her husband. She's turned towards her husband. So there's everything. And immediately he touches her, she's not saying no. Okay. So we can use it in that light too. Now, okay, so she's in his house, she undresses, she lies down next to him. She hasn't, okay, so, and she's naked, she's touching him, he's touching her, and they are going from one step to another in the sexual act. And she hasn't said no at all. She's not pushing him away. Okay. So the truth is that when the no's come, I'm sure obviously the no's will come with the voice, I mean, like maybe that's saying no or pushing him away. And then she now saying, okay, you know what, who was it that was speaking earlier? You know what? I know that it looked like I wanted to do this, but I'm not ready for it again. I don't want to do it. So I know that at that point she's going to be talking. So she could say, maybe the years could come like, okay, I'm coming to your house and we're going to get down, we'll have fun. I've missed you. I'm just going to, another. So that's also consent. So she gets to his house. She's, undressing. She says, give me a minute. Let me freshen up in the bathroom. She comes out. She goes to lie down by his side. That's all consent. Okay. Now they begin to touch. They begin to do everything. And then he's about to penetrate. Then she pushes him away and she says, you know what? I don't feel like doing this anymore. I'm just tired. I'm not. He can try his best to say, oh, please, now what's wrong with you? Should we talk about it? And she's still insisting, no, I don't want it. So that's her taking back the consent. Okay. So I think I've been able to explain in both ways how consent can be in words and how consent can be by body language.
Okay, Ella,
Okay.
I hope your question has been answered. Okay. So I'll read one more question from the chat
Thank
box. Then I have Celeste. Celeste, just a minute. Another question. What can you say in a case where an underage 17-year-old is seducing a 20-year-old boy and eventually puts something in his drink and he loses consciousness and they slept together? Who is rapist here, the underage girl or the boy?
Yeah, both rapists.
Okay, so in this case, it's already clear that the underage girl raped him. Okay, because she put something in his drink, she got him home, she undressed him, so she's actually the one that has raped the boy. So the truth is, underage children can actually rape too. That's the truth. So underage children can rape. So that she's 17 and she perpetrated that does not mean that it's not rape, but she can rape. I mean, a 12-year-old girl can rape a 4-year-old boy. But you check that trend and you know that the 12-year-old had been sexually assaulted also by someone. So usually it's like a circle. That's why I mean it's something that we really need to stop. Just prevent, just put an end to it however we can, because it's like a circle. One person molests another person, molests just, I'm molested, I molest another person, that person molests another person, so and on like that. So in a case like that, the 17-year-old is actually the one that has raped the older boy.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. I can't see
Mm.
Celeste here again. Celeste, are you here? Your hand was up before. In
Excuse me, ma. Sorry, that was my question. But because I really want to understand that this statutory rape very well. Because in a
Okay.
case of law, who will be held accountable? Because the guy is underage, the guy is matured. So what happened in that case?
No, in a case like that, really, um, obviously there are two things. Will the guy really go and report? That's one thing. Now, if the guy goes to report, I'm sure I mean, I don't know how the law enforcement will even approach his matter, like, okay, and all of that. So, but usually they would probably just hand over the girl to her parents, you know. They'll hand over the girl to maybe her parents or maybe like for some form of rehabilitation. What's the problem? Why has that happened? Have you been assaulted by someone too that you have this idea? Where did you get the idea from? So the girl needs more of a rehabilitation. I mean I don't think the law covers yet or that should actually be arrested and thrown into prison. But depending on the case the guy sues, I mean files against her, she could actually be arrested. She could be arrested. So but I mean if we are going to face reality, I mean, the guy might not, a guy in a case like that will necessarily not report, you know. And even if he reports, they will just show the girl will need some form of rehabilitation. And if you are going to check, because if I have a case in front of me like that, I will just go down to the roots to find out where did something miss, because an average girl will not do that, So, but what had happened? Why this attitude or this behavior? Okay. So in that case, it's not statutory rape. It's not, but maybe the girl had experienced rape before. So that way, talking to her, you probably will find out that maybe there's another person down the line. And so maybe you can now, I mean, face that case if you want to make a case like that. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you answered the question. Like the real story is the guy is this girl's like elder sister boyfriend, and that girl is into drugs that the parents are aware of. And in this case, everybody is blaming that guy in the family because the other starts to break up with the boy. I feel like
he intentionally.
and so everybody in the family is putting blame on the boy. Nobody is seeing that girl as that one.
You see the reason why I said, I mean, a number of guys will just keep quiet because it's usually hard for us to imagine that a guy can be raped. And then you look at the small girl, and then you look at the guy, and you say, Ogasa, how would you say this kind of small girl raped you? But the truth is, it was under the influence of a drug. It even happened in the Bible now, and even the Bible attested to it between Lot and his daughters. So the daughters got him drunk, and then they raped him. So they raped him, they got pregnant. He eventually woke up and when he realized he cursed them and all of that. So you see, there's really nothing new under the sun. So, but for the family, yes, they probably would do that. But if they were to sit back to really realize, and like I said, to think about it, think deep, empathize with the person that has been sexually assaulted, they won't be blaming him at all. But it's because of this kind of blame that a guy that has been sexually assaulted will keep quiet. He will keep quiet. But anybody under the influence of drug has not given consent. And the truth is anything could be done with his body. And that was what the young lady did.
Okay, Auntie Shay, I hope your question has been answered.
Thank you, ma.
Okay.
Okay.
Auntie Henrietta, you have something to say. Your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Sarah, for a detailed class and
Yeah,
answering
thank
all the
you.
questions and all that. Now, my question is, and it is a question and a concern. You know, you made mention of having a high risk behavior. You understand, and I know that these days growing up, all these myths is what I grew up with. You know, all these myths, don't dress anyhow, men can easily get aroused once they see, they go after. Sometimes some girls are like that, but most women don't because they don't have pennies, nothing rises. The thing will just be in their emotion, and there's not, they will go and do masturbation and they will settle themselves, you know. But growing up, we're taught that you need to put everything in check to make sure that you don't trigger, men. And so they will not in turn plan for you. It might not be immediate, but there is that thing that sticks in their head that, that much later, that can come to play. Now, I grew up knowing that. Then now these days we have, okay, like everything we've said, it's like, okay, the girls have a right to their body. Absolutely agree. We also, when someone was saying, okay, so you can start having sex, then at the middle you say, I don't want again, I stop withdrawing my consent. And I'm asking myself, that for a guy to start having sex with you, and you now say you withdraw your consent, based on the hormones that have started, do you think it's possible for him to say, okay, that's one? Then I am also looking at, yes, girls, we are free to do anything. Boys shouldn't touch us. They can just look and just go. They should have all of them should have all self-control, And I'm asking that, where is even if it's minute percentage of you thinking, this thing I am doing, is it causing someone else to come after me? Now, Bolu has said the Pakistan, all those people, they wear hijab and everything, they still get raped. Yes, I agree totally. But no matter, even if it's 1%, even if it's 0.5%, that that's sending, being in a position of, having a high risk behavior that can send someone that is a pedophile, someone that is a rapist, somebody that is whatever, off to come after you. Is it not possible to show restraint as a girl? I'm not talking about Christian now, because the Bible has said so many things about lewdness, indecent exposure, modesty, and all that. I'm not talking about being a Christian, because Christianity actually outrightly condemns it. So for a normal girl, is it not possible for them to adhere to, even if it's just that minus 0.001% of decency, so that the hormones of all the whatever people, you will not send a trigger? That is what I'm saying. Especially the fact that these days people post things on status, Instagram, social media, they just post so many things, half naked, lewdness, everything, and they will say, oh, the men should have self-control. And I'm asking, is it fair? Is there no percentage of what we, the girls, the women, should have self-control over? So I am thinking this through. I don't want to say that every rapist, is triggered by someone's way of dressing, some girl's way of dressing. No. Father can rape a daughter. I hear all that. But I'm looking at the minute percentage that can affect the men. Because let's not also forget, these men are our brothers. Sometimes you live with them. The only saving grace that these things are not happening in your home is because they see you as my sister. If it is someone else, it's going to take, you will see them, they will lock their doors when all those things happen. They just lock their doors. They don't want to see all these things and all that. Are we not causing mental pain and torture to them, expecting them to say, oh, you should have self-control? So I'm looking at, I've said so many things. I know the girl child have the power. Nobody should tamper with their body and everything. But I'm also of the opinion is, even if it's minus 0.001%, can we also show self-control in the way we can trigger other people? Especially the things we post, that's just what I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, I've seen all these things and I'm trying to balance it. I am really trying to balance it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Ma, and I really feel the fact that you're seeking a balance in this. Because while we don't want to erase, okay, that's saying that dressing is not something that should trigger rape. You want there to be a voice also to girls dressing modestly. Okay. Now these things, if we can approach them under two topics, they should be individual. All right. Now, so why don't we say maybe the indecent dressing is what has caused a malaria, or so like we tie it like that. So it's okay to address indecent dressing as a topic. Dress well so that maybe, oh, don't catch cold. Dress well, and when you dress well, you'll be addressed properly. They will greet you very well. Nobody would whistle at you, this and that. So when you dress well, you look responsible and all that. So that's we addressing indecent dressing or decent dressing as a topic. So let's not have to address indecent topic only under rape. when you don't dress well, you get raped. It's not true. Do you understand? So I'll say, okay, do you know what? No problem. I'll go with him to his house. I can sleep over, but I'll make sure that everything I'll wear to his house, I'll cover up very well. I'll cover up very well. So then I can go, I can sleep over, and at least since I'm dressing well, nothing should happen. So you see that that's not enough. So what we're actually saying is that dressing is not a reason why you should be raped or you were raped. It's not a reason why you were raped. So what we are trying to say now is that so somebody was raped and she was wearing a spaghetti dress above the knee. You shouldn't be saying, you too, why did you wear something like this? Now, if you didn't wear something like this, he won't rape you. You were the one that gave him signs. So that's the angle we are coming from. That don't let it become a myth such that when you now somebody comes to confide in you, the myth is triggered and you use it to begin to guilt trip or blame the person. He took me for dinner, he bought a gift for me, say, you too, before uncle, maybe you were collecting gifts the other day, didn't I tell you? And when you collected gifts, so now what else do you expect? Is as a result of the myth. So eventually you are sounding judgmental to that person and you have not helped the person in any way. So I don't know if I'm really passing this, if this will answer that question, but the truth is what this myth stands for, what I've shared this myth for, is for us to be able to put it aside when it comes to the case of rape, that there's none of these myths that can actually stand as a good reason to have been raped. And by the time you begin to say it out to the person that have been raped, the person sears judgment, okay? And the person that has actually been guilt stripping or self-blaming, it increases, and that can actually lead the person to suicide. So eventually you have not helped the person. So the truth is, let's ask a question. Is it everybody that dresses indecently that have been raped? No. There are some people that it is their daily wear, and if you ask them, they have never been raped. And then there are those like the other person spoke, the people that are covered in Pakistan. So what we are saying is that dress sense is not a reason to be raped. Like you said, it's okay to dress modest, and like I said later too, that the knowledge everybody has is different. And even God is praying that everybody will come to the knowledge. Everybody is coming to the full knowledge of Jesus Christ, like that. So that means even God, it's still the prayer of God that everybody comes to attain the right knowledge. But as you would your own parents, our parents taught us, groomed us, taught us how to dress and all of that. There are some young girls that right from their being young like this, babies, you already see how they begin to dress them up. You already see the styles that their parents or adults around them tell them that that's what makes them look good. So they grow up with that mindset that when I wear this, I look good. So they are not actually wearing it to seduce any person or say, okay, since I'm going to his house, let me look like this. It has maybe become their way of life as it is. So until they're able to get a new knowledge, which is what I'm saying, addressing indecent dressing as itself. So if we're able to create that awareness and they're able to pick up that awareness without us tying it to anything or giving it as a reason why somebody should be raped, so I think it will now be, it will go a long way. There'll be certain people that will now, okay, oh, is this what, okay, if I dress well, nobody else don't greet me well. These are the evidences, these are the practical examples. Okay, now I'll change my mind, I start dressing well. So I don't know if I've been able to draw out where the lines or the boundary lines are. So while I'm not saying indecent dressing is okay, but what I'm actually saying is that it is not a reason why this lady was raped. That's not the reason.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah. I am saying that I hear indecency should be addressed as indecency.
Yeah.
I also I've read books. I've read book and I've heard people say that um, the way men are created, once they see the hormone gets triggered. I'm not talking about people that are rapists.
Yes, talking
I'm not
about
talking
men generally, that's how
I'm
they are
talking
made.
about men generally, you know. And
That's how
if
their system works.
exactly. So if I now maybe somebody has become a Christian and has, left such life, and now sees people just because, okay, the men should have self-control, the women's, nobody can touch them because, and everything. But do we not send triggers? You understand? That's my question. We're talking about trauma. It can send the person back to where the person was coming from. I'm not saying it's a right to rape.
This just comes to the fact that is it Paul that mentioned that if you like to eat something, but eating it will cause another person to sin, don't eat it. Now you see that's a level of knowledge. If my wearing earrings will cause another person to sin, the Bible says, love says, don't wear it. So if my dressing, I should assess it. If it's going to cause another person to sin, I shouldn't dress in that manner. Even though I would have loved to wear that pair of that piece of clothing. But because of love, I shouldn't wear it. Now, this is knowledge. This is me. I have that knowledge. Like I said, there's another young girl that doesn't have that knowledge. And you see, it's just like the Bible says that, there were still Canaanites amongst them, and the Canaanites were not driven out. So
Yes.
they were Israelites, and then there were the people. So the truth is, you will still have that scenario under the sun. So amongst us, we will still always have those that will not dress well, okay, until they come to the knowledge of how they should dress. And it's not their fault, they don't know yet. So that's what I'm saying. When we create this awareness as per indecent dressing, then people know when they give their life to Christ to know that when they don't dress well, they cause others to sin, then they would behave otherwise. But as it is now, they have not come to that knowledge, and so they behave in that manner. Okay, so like I said earlier, for a man for a young girl that dresses, she's indecent dressed, like the example I gave, and she's walking on the street. The truth is, the highest you see the heads of men turning. Okay, so that is her already maybe seducing those men. But she's on the street, they're on the street, a lot of people watching. Whoever wants to, he can't rape her there. Okay, it can't rape her there. So it clearly means that what she's wearing is not the reason why she will eventually be raped if she was within in a room or in a building. And like you said earlier, so it is not why I'm still going back to the fact that it's not about what the person wears. Not like I say, okay, indecent dressing is just, it's no, like it's an excuse. Or all men, they should learn to uh they should have self-control, as it were. You understand? So, but it still boils down to everybody too having that knowledge, everybody being having self-control, the young lady, okay, on a natural ground, being able to get to the knowledge of dressing models. But you see, it is not a reason for one to be sexually assaulted. Okay, are you still there, ma'am?
Yeah, thank you. I said thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
The
Okay.
reason why I'm actually asking all this is because I needed all of us to hear, that we are free. The Bible says we are free. We can't use our freedom as a license to sin, and we can also cause other people to stumble. However, any man that is taking a young girl because of the way she's dressed to sleep with her without her consent is rape. I agree 100%. But the balance for me is Some people are pedophiles, some people are rapists, some people are terrible things, but the percentage of people that are not those things, can we make sure we don't even get them to become those things by the way we carry and conduct ourselves? That's just what I am saying. I'm not saying there are some people that rape babies. Babies don't dress, they wear pampers. They still rape them. But we're not lumping everything in one word of just rape. There are categories of mental health, we have all those things and all that, but a wise person, like you said, would listen to what God's word is saying and you follow what the Spirit is saying. So thank you so much for that. I'm very, very grateful.
All right, Ma. Thank you so much.
Okay, at this point, I just want to read one last question and then Mrs. P would like to speak. Then we're done for today. Okay, so someone is asking, how can we help a lady older than 18 that was raped by a father or relative? And what are the evidences that will be of help at the court of law? Because I understand that Nigerian law does not talk about incest. Sorry, did you hear the question? Okay.
Yes, I heard the question. Oh, the law covers for incest now. There's a new act that has just been issued. I mean that is out now. They've reviewed the act, so it covers. So that's incest. In fact, that is not even tolerated at all. You've seen severally in the news where a father has been paraded to have sexually assaulted the daughter, and then maybe the daughter is pregnant and all that. You'd have seen that is not held. It's not something that is held with levity at all. So it's a case that is really dealt with, and then they try to. I mean, the perpetrator is arrested, is prosecuted, and all of that, and is given the jail terms where necessary. So for the young lady that is being assaulted by uh, her father, she's above 18. So the truth is, many a times you see the hold back. Why? Maybe because, oh, it's my father, and my mother will cry, and my family members will say, how did I report him? And that's why it continues. So, but now the first thing is, who can be trusted in the entire family that you can talk to? Is there another relative you can escape to start living with? So while you know that all these are in consideration, so you plan all those things very well, and then obviously you now go to report. You report to the police, and now obviously, if you can be able to get any evidence, get the evidence. If you can't get evidence, don't worry, make the report. I mean, there are others. I mean, there are just only two sexual assault referral centers in Lagos, and that's the Mirabel Center and at Last Youth, Lagos State Teaching Hospital, and also WARIF. So you'll be referred to either of the sexual assault referral centers to get an examination. So when you come, you'll be examined. There'll be psychosocial assessments, and so based on our reports, then they can really know if so that will be their evidence to present in court. Okay, I mean on your behalf. All right. So I don't need you. Don't think that you're 18. Nobody will believe you, and then they'll say it's consensual. No. I mean, it's possible that your father can assault you because yes, he's your father, and so he can instruct you, you know, to do what he wants, and so or he can threaten to take some things away from you so that you can obey him. So eventually, it has a higher power over you. So that's more like incest and sexual harassment and rape. Okay. So I think if you are that person or if you know that person, just encourage the person to report to the law enforcement. They will give the person a medical report. It's just a small slip, a paper requesting medical report. The person will be referred to either WARIF or Last Youth or Mirabel. And so once you come, examination is done, all those psychosocial counseling assessment is done, and then the report is sent back to the police and they pursue the case. Okay, so that would help a lot because if you keep quiet, the abuse will continue. So silence is actually the weapon of the perpetrator. So you need to know that it's not your fault, and you can get help when you seek it. All right. So, but if you keep quiet, you're only giving the perpetrator the weapon to continue. All right. So I hope that would help.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Mrs. P, you can go ahead and speak. After her, we're done for today.
Thank you. I don't know. I'm echoing. I was listening to your hearing. I'm actually struggling like in case of withdrawing consent. Like I left my house, I go to someone's house, and we're already in the meeting. Like yeah, we are already in different touch, and again I say no. Because I'm like in that case, I'm now the guy have it way. So I'm now saying I'm really struggling because for me it doesn't really make it doesn't really make sense. Because Bible says anyone that causes towards your mind is strong. It's better a stone is tied to their neck and so I can't really why it's better a stone is tied on their neck and it's being thrown into water. I'm just like quote the scripture. So for me that is really making me to struggle right now. Yeah, I feel I have the power and but why do I have to do another person to compromise the situation? Because as a man, you already be alone, like me and my husband, I already touched each other. I say, no, I don't want to tell you. My stomach is saying for that. To me, it doesn't really make sense. So that part, I need help because I'm really struggling with all that.
Okay. Okay, so I don't know, I couldn't hear you well, but I think you're trying to question the fact that why would a young girl lead a guy so far and then now say that she did not consent again? Would that be your question?
Yeah, I'm saying part of giving consent and then taking it back. And there was an illustration you gave when Ella asked the question. When you're trying to explain action as consent and talking and consent. So that's really I got thinking about that. Of me, I'm giving my consent, I'm still involved in action, and at the end, I'm saying I'm taking it back. When the guy is obviously alone and he's letting me
Okay. So now let me just give you a clear what is practical and what can happen. Okay. So now if there's a young girl that maybe the first time a penis will ever enter her vagina, it was rape. So she's 14-year-old, she's in her house, and then she stays she's alone because her mom maybe Kate got back home late, or maybe her mom went for a video and she wasn't up to it. So her mom says, okay, just sleep. I'll be with the key. When I come back, I would open the door. Now, the next thing after the mom is left and at the video, she hears bangs, on the door, and it appears to be armed robbers. And two of them come in and they rape her. Now, the truth is, it's just now that there's awareness that, oh, this is where you go to for this is where you come to for that, to get help. Back in the days we are coming from, there were not all those things. Instead, they will tell you to be quiet so that it doesn't reduce your bride price. And so now she's quiet, no psychosocial counseling, and she just wraps all those things in her mind, okay, trying to deal with it the best way she can. There's no counselor to tell her what kind of symptoms she'll feel and how to cope with it. So she just tries to do what she can to cope with it. Now, what she would most likely do is try to forget what has happened or try to live in denial of what has happened. Okay? So now, eventually, she gets older and she gets married. Remember, she has tried to forget. So she gets married, hoping like, okay, well, it can't be that bad. It's my husband. Okay, or maybe let's assume, yeah, okay, let's assume she's not yet getting married. So she gets a boyfriend, and the boyfriend says, okay, this and that, our relationship and all of that. Since we are mushy, we love each other. I think we can do this. And so, okay, she says, okay, you know what? I'm in love with you. Okay, no problem. You are my first boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. So she's already like, okay, she's not so, she's not close to it as in the sex and all of that. And so now they get into that stage. You know that as he begins to touch her and he tries to penetrate, the truth is that it's a different thing to be touchy, all mushy and all things. It's a different thing to now want to penetrate. So wanting to penetrate is enough to take her back to that night when she was sexually assaulted. Remember, she didn't go through therapy. So she still feels she still feels as afraid as that night because she has not been able to deal with it. And so it is based on that that comes to her mind. She pushes him away. She starts to cry. She says she's no longer interested. She picks up her dress and she's about to go out. And the guy says, what kind of rubbish is that? He drags her back to the bed and forcefully rapes her. He penetrates her forcefully. So he says she's the only one that knows the reason why she's saying no, in as much as she has said yes. And if this guy is supposed to deal with her with love as it's supposed to be, then he should be more understanding. Oh, okay, what's happening? Okay, let's take it slow. He won't die if he's supposed to have to put back. I know that it's not fun also to have been aroused and then get back. But it's not like he's going to die. Now, even bearing in this, I know that it's also good to let ladies know, like I said, how can we prevent sexual assault? Understand the space where you are, is it a safe space? The person you are dealing with, what kind of person is he? So these are the things. Is there a red flag that this guy is actually violent to? Is he a ruffian? So but the truth is, if it's somebody that really loves you, okay, will be patient to say, okay, you know what? Okay, you don't want it now. Okay, you understand? So it will be patient enough. But since you know that it might take a while for you to understand who you are dealing with, it's better to not to try a stunt like that. And I also like the fact that I'm speaking to Christian young ladies, and we know what this Bible says concerning sexual sexual activities. So we know what the Bible has said concerning choosing a life partner. You know that God has said you should watch and pray. You know that the Bible, that the standards of God is that we are not involved. That the standards of God, the Bible, which we stand upon, is saying that okay, abstinence is the best. And I would still say to anyone that the truth is the reason why God will say abstinence is the best is just to keep us from trouble. It's not like, oh, don't catch fun and all that. Eventually, if we experience STIs, it's not God that will face it. We are the ones that will face it and feel the pain. If we have to deal with HIV/AIDS, it's not God that will face it. We are the ones that will face it. So these are the reasons why God will say abstinence is the best. But while you abstain and you are selecting a life partner, you have to also watch and pray. So bearing all this in mind, you understand. So, but since we are talking like even not just only to Christian, people have joined us from also YouTube, and also you know that you are doing a large cover and all that. So, Mrs. P, so the truth is, basically, a girl can actually withdraw her consent, even though it looks like she had given it initially. And there will be reasons, clear, she would have her reasons for that. Okay. So, all right. So that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Sarah. I believe there's no other question, right? Okay. At this moment, I just want to close out by saying we have come together today to talk about dismantling rape and sexual assault, and we've learned a lot of things. I hope that we will take this meat and then consciously strive to put it aside when we meet people who are struggling, who have cases with this. And if you are someone who has gone through this and you feel like you need someone to talk to, we have put in the chat box the address and website. So please go ahead and feel free to go in for a consultation. If you know someone that needs this, please share this information as well. I hope we've learned a lot, and I hope we share this with people. Thank you so much for staying true till the end. At this moment, I would like to call on, is Nkoyo here? Is Nkoyo here?
It's Eniola.
Okay, Aniela. Aniela, please, would you like to close us out in prayer?
Okay.
Before we close us out, please hold on.
Okay.
I want all of us to give a thunderous thank you to our speaker. She unmute your mics for just 1 second.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you too. You're welcome.
Aniela, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma, for this session. Let's go to God in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, I thank you for today. I thank you for this time out. I thank you for the organizers for putting this topic together. Lord, it has really been a great time of enlightenment, learning the various myths associated with rape and trying to understand how to, prevent this, how to help one another, how to recover from this and become whole again. Lord, I pray that you help us internalize this and be able to help ourselves and others. I pray that you bring healing to those who have gone through various symptoms, those who have gone through trauma, oh Lord. Lord, I pray you grant them the help and you help them heal really in Jesus' name. Lord, I pray you continue to protect us. I pray you continue to be with us all wherever